Discus lariat.
The huge suplex.
Good morning and happy Saturday, April 17th. 2 days removed from the traditional tax day, so you have until May 15th. So thank you, IRS.
I got the rest of my life.
There you go. Thank you for tuning in to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Aaron Phillips, the Chief, and Matt Mullen bring you today's exciting episode of post-WrestleMania 37 and the news that's befit to be talking about regarding pro wrestling, and we might even have some indie stuff to talk about if something pops up. But thank you for joining us. As always, you are currently watching us, of course, on Facebook, or take us on the go. Go Live Vegas, download Modable? Download.
I thought I was the tired one.
Mobile.
Download the mobile app, or you can go to thoughtscountanywhere.com, click on where is the page? Archive Shows tab. And that'll take you direct to our YouTube channel. You can catch us there. You can catch us on Twitter, you name it. It's a shorter list of where we're not than we are. So, guys, how are you this week since we last met pre-WrestleMania 37? Last week. Matt, what's going on since last week?
Just dealing with crazy people downtown, the usual.
There you go.
Had a great week this week, doing well.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. And Mr. Aaron is on the board today as he's chomping on his breakfast cereal. What cereal are you eating today?
Really?
Yes, I really want to know.
Shredded wheat.
Shredded wheats. He obviously has a problem in the bathroom. He needs that extra wheat. Okay.
Hey, I like shredded wheat. Stop.
We're off to a good start. Hey, 702-329-6947 is our number. Press 1 to come right into the studio with your comments about WrestleMania 37. We'd love to know your reaction to any matches. Thank you. Did you wipe? That's all I want to know. Did you wipe? Did you sanitize your hands? Did you wear a mask while you were in there for different reasons?
Gloves.
Anyway, all right.
OBA,
OBA?
oxygen breathing apparatus.
Oh, I thought you were referring to IBS and you picked the wrong letters. Oh, we're off to a good start. We're only 4 minutes in. Gotta love America. Anyway, thank you for watching. All right, we got a lot to talk about, but first we do have a couple of topics under I Hear Voices. All right, rumor has it that next year's WrestleMania, which I believe was announced for AT&T Stadium, right?
Yep.
Texas.
Is now going to go back to one night. Now, what's your thoughts on that? Quickly, for me, I actually liked the split nights, personally.
I did too.
I kind of like the split nights, but I guess if you're traveling there, you don't have to worry about weekend tickets. You can just get it all in one day. But an 8-hour show is kind of rough after a while. They got to keep you really going.
I wonder if they could do a better job packaging it up, for the tickets, the hotel, and everything. Being that this was just the first year and it was a trial, I wonder if, WWE and maybe the city of, is it Dallas it's going to be in, I believe? If they could work together to come up with a better package.
Arlington, actually, is where the stadium is, isn't it? Arlington is where AT&T is?
Okay.
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I have zero.
I know, me too.
I know it's in
I
Texas
don't
somewhere.
No, I don't either.
Probably near Dallas.
But anyway.
Somewhere down there.
I would hope, possibly they could come up with a better package and for the fans.
I don't know. For one, I like the split night because sitting through 12 matches on one night, as we learned a couple of years ago, 8 hours, that's a lot. And like you said, it's tough to keep them engaged. It's tough to keep people engaged for a 3-hour Raw, let alone a marathon show. I like the 2 nights. I thought it was split up better. You can focus on certain matches. It's on the east side of San Antonio. I didn't realize it was in San Antone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you there, Mr. Producer. So, anyway, 702, good morning, Sean, as he's getting ready for work. We appreciate you taking us with you and having us start your day. All right, so we're kind of split up here, but I think we're all, Matt, Chief and I like the 2 nights. You were for 2 nights? Or one?
Yeah, I like the 2 nights
Okay.
just because you don't have to be worn out from like, this will end at like 11 o'clock at night.
Totally. When you have 12 matches or whatever the number of matches actually was this year over the 2 nights.
Exactly.
To sit down, listen, I have enough trouble getting my wife to agree to let me watch over 2 nights,
Yes.
let alone giving up one night for all those hours.
I have a tough time now trying to watch wrestling 7 nights.
That's
I have to go to a different TV every night.
Well, that's why you need like a newsroom, multiple TV on your wall all at the same time.
I even have a TV in the garage.
Oh.
Nice.
Is that your cave? Is that your chief cave?
That is my chief cave.
Chief cave is in the garage with TVs. I like it.
And I got a couch, so when I'm in trouble, I can sleep out there too.
Now that's planning. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Rumor is that they actually changed the finish of The Fiend and Randy Orton, as well as Sheamus and Riddle. I want to talk about the Riddle one first, because as I read the same story, Riddle was not even supposed to have the belt. And because of what happened with Keith Lee backing out or whatever the situation was there, even though they had the triple threat and did all of that, Riddle's not supposed to get the belt.
Exactly. I read the same one.
Yeah, and so they gave him, 1 month, roughly,
Yes.
to hold the
I
belt,
believe so, yeah.
right? And then Sheamus wins it. So I don't remember what the outcome or result's going to be with Sheamus with the belt. I don't know if it's going to be a long run or if they're kind of waiting a little bit till Keith Lee is brought back.
I thought I read incorrectly. I thought Keith Lee was supposed to come back this week.
You mean this past week or this upcoming week?
No, this past week. I read an article and it said that he was supposed to come back this week, but Becky was supposed to come back too, and
Rousey, right?
And Rousey, and they're not back yet either.
No, they're not back. So
who knows what Creative's doing?
Whole lot of nothing as usual.
I was going to say, do they ever know?
I had to get the plug in.
Exactly. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Nate Miller down in. Speaking of Texas, Nate is a good buddy of mine who has a show called The Basement Show with Nate Miller. He's right outside the Texas Ranger Stadium, kind of works in that area with his show. So he's a big Texan. Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Lisa Joe, a dear friend of mine in Cali.
Mr. Mike, good morning, sir. I'm ready for a tag team. Don't let him pick on me today.
All right, there you go. Thanks, Mike, for the update. That's great to hear. All right, so let's talk about the finish of the Randy Orton and Fiend match. Would it have made much of a difference? I mean, originally they said the Fiend was going to win, right?
Yeah, would have made sense.
And then they switched it up the way that they did with Alexa. Now, does this literally bury the Fiend character since they had him lose at WrestleMania in terms of competition, or are they going to build a storyline now between Alexa and Fiend, which we saw Alexa give her explanation that she now has the power, basically.
Yeah.
Where does this go now? What does this do for is the Fiend dead and he's got to come up with yet another character?
Go ahead.
My original thought was like Bo Dallas was going to get involved somehow, but
well, we know that ain't going to happen.
We know that's definitely not happening. So
unless it's
I wonder who this Lily girl's going to be.
I just want you to explain to me what the hell, why Alexa had shit coming out of her head.
Well, that's the black tar stuff that Orton had been spitting up over a couple of weeks of the vignettes and the segments out of his mouth. And good morning, Garth. Oh, yeah. So that black gunk was the same thing that had been coming out of Randy's mouth, showing that I guess the gunk that he was coughing up now can be attributed back to Alexa.
So that's giving her the power over the Fiend now?
She says she figured it out. She figured out how to harness the power from the Fiend. That was the inclination. So the reference.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Garth. We appreciate it.
Creative writing.
Mike Halverson says the WWE stunk, but that Cesaro match was absolutely solid. We'll get to that in a moment. Mike is also saying that the FSW show from last night here in town was pretty good. Lots to talk about there. Yeah, we're waiting to build that into our second hour show, Mike. Tongue in cheek.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right, let's go on and let's start talking about WrestleMania. All right. 702-329-6947. We'd love to know your thoughts on any of the matches. Mike just shared his. Any thoughts on WWE and where some of these storylines is going? All right, real quickly. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Lashley retained his championship. They were the first match out of the gate. McIntyre was the first one through the curtain. Probably got a nice pop. So are we surprised? I mean, I thought McIntyre might win. But really, I mean, if they're trying to build up Lashley, then I can understand why they had him get a big win at WrestleMania.
I think I called McIntyre, so...
I did too.
I think everybody called McIntyre.
But hey, it was a good match. It was a good match.
Good showing for Lashley?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice to see that nobody got involved other than the two of them, and I'll leave it at that.
Now, Mike, no pressure. I love you, Mike. I hope you know that. Now, I believe it was on Raw, the following WrestleMania, that two former Retribution members, and it escapes me who they are at this moment, came down to ringside, I believe it was Monday, and were alongside Lashley and MVP. Do we see now new members of the Hurt Business 2.0?
We're telling me Dominic Dijakovic is joining the Hurt Business.
He is.
This is...
Okay.
Raw's supposed to be like... The Raw after WrestleMania is supposed to be like the biggest show of the year. And the big surprise was Retribution joining the Hurt Business. Aren't they supposed to be like the modern day like Nation of Domination?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think it would have been better that way if Cedric and Shelton were still part of it. They were the original members. You know, now we have two cast-offs from Retribution in a storyline that didn't really do much, and now you're going to put them with the Hurt Business? Or
I'm making a meme of the new group compared to like the new Captain America on the Falcon Winter Soldier thing. Because that's a massive downgrade.
Hi, James. Thank you. Sean, thank you.
I don't watch Raw, so I can't help you.
Sarah, thank you.
As somebody said, it's not a good product. The storylines stink, and hopefully he becomes my tag team partner, and I agree with him. I don't like it, and I don't like SmackDown either.
You don't like SmackDown?
No.
SmackDown is much better than Raw.
You know, I'm going off script for a minute.
That's all right. Don't get ahead of your rant, though. I don't know what your rant is.
No. I'm gonna go off script real quick, and I'll give you a snippet of it. Somebody I heard this past week said there's 40 quality wrestlers in WWE that should have their own show, and I'm just going to leave it at that for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk about the big news this past week about the releases from WWE. This is the second year in a row that there were some releases, some names surprisingly, some not. But we'll go over that in a little bit. All right, Natalya and Tamina they win the tag team turmoil on Saturday night. Everybody was a feel-good story that the ladies now are going to have an opportunity for Sunday. Tamina looked good. I like the new gear that she's wearing rather than the all black and the jacket and the leather. So I had high hopes come Sunday for them.
I did too, and I was glad to see Tamina earlier put Nia Jax on her ass.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then I understand Jax had another kerfuffle.
Yes, she
Monday
did.
night.
Yes, she did.
She slipped off the apron or something?
She did for a second time.
Jeez.
I wonder if she, I'm not a wrestler, but I know, I've been fortunate enough to see wrestling gear.
Right.
And I wonder if she needs to get some different type of wrestling boots.
You mean with spikes so she can hang on to the floor?
So she doesn't hit her fluff or nothing.
Her fluff or nothing. Oh, my goodness. Matt, check the teleprompter, please, if you would, from our producer. Okay, we'll cover this this next match, and then we'll go to break. Cesaro defeated Seth Rollins. I'm very happy for Cesaro getting his moment. Absolutely. He got 23 swings on Rollins the second attempt. There was talk, I think maybe even we brought it up, if he was going to try 37 to match the WrestleMania number. Yeah. But he did have a first attempt, and I think he dropped him after, about 10 maybe. Yeah. So he got close and combined.
Yeah.
But he did 23, which was one more than what he did to Rollins on TV. Happy for Cesaro, and if you watched SmackDown last night, we saw Cesaro step up to Reigns, which was a big prediction that we all talked about as a path for Cesaro.
Who won that match between Cesaro and Uso?
Well, on paper, Cesaro gets the win under some cloudy suspicions because of maybe some interference or whatever. But on paper, Cesaro did get the win.
Okay.
So good for him, and we'll see what will happen there. All right. With that, let us step aside for our first break of the morning. Yes. You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere. Matt, Chief, myself will be back. 60 seconds.
If inspiration is the beginning, where does it lead? Experience the 2021 Mazda 3 sedan and see where inspiration can take you.
Grab the brass ring in a 2021 Mazda 3 with exclusive FSW discounts at Findlay Mazda. Get Garth today at the Valley Auto Mall.
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
All right, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Every time you ring that bell, I want JBL to walk through that door.
Maybe sometime.
Maybe. Good morning, Tommy. Thanks for tuning in this morning. 702-329-6947. Press 1 to come right to the studio. We'd love your thoughts and feedback regarding WrestleMania 37 or anything regarding the wrestling world. Now that we have wrestling 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And
My DVR is busy.
Yes, sorry, recording is busy. All right. James Ward, a good friend of the show who was with us a couple of weeks ago, he is at work, and he says he gave WrestleMania a 7 out of 10. Favorite match was either the Triple Threat main event, which we'll talk about, or Bianca Belair's performance. So I think James picks the two matches that I think were the highlight, actually, of both nights, right? Yeah. So, but a 7 out of 10, maybe I would bump it up to an 8, maybe from my end, but I think 7, 8 out of 10, I think is a good spot.
I think 7 out of 10 is good.
AJ Styles and Omos defeated the New Day to win the Raw Tag Team Championship. Did anybody not see that coming once Omos got into the ring?
Which, here's the question. And I listened to a podcast this week, and somebody brought up a good point. This was Amos' first match.
Omos. It's an OMOS.
I don't care.
Okay.
Kiss my ass there.
Kiss my Omos.
He almost didn't make it.
Anyway.
No, you got to get the whole name right. Come on now. Oh, sorry.
Anyway. First match. How the hell you win the belts? That's stupid. You put them on, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's crazy to, just give them the belts. I don't understand it. New Day, I like New Day, but in my mind, on that storyline, New Day should have kept the belts. My opinion.
Well, they're going to push almost to the moon because if his debut is at WrestleMania winning championship gold, Vince has a fascination for big men, and everybody knows that.
Well, and look what happened in the Continental title match.
Yeah.
Right? Former Raw Underground guy.
Yep.
Comes in. But anyway, I'm ahead of myself on that. All right.
That's okay.
Braun Strowman defeated Shane McMahon in a steel cage match.
That was a no-brainer, but I was pissed that there wasn't a casket there. Son of a bitch.
I thought it was a good match.
It was.
I assumed,
match.
Shane was going to, go through the cage somehow, so I was kind of watching for zip ties.
Yeah, you called
And
that.
I was like, I don't know what they're going to do. And then he, ripped the freaking cage apart to get to him. I was like, that's cool.
Good thing they loosened the bolts on the hooks, right? But listen, there's no question Strowman is a strong MFer.
He's a beast.
He is a beast, but I think it's time. They got to get him out of these gimmicky storylines. He's well past that. They push him. Then he falls back to mid-card at best. And to me, a match like this with Shane McMahon and the green goop that happened, they're not treating his story right.
We've seen Dijakovic down at NXT.
Thank you, Sean.
And he had some great matches down there. Great matches. Now they've moved him up to the main roster.
He just got.
I wonder why they've never put a match on with Braun Strowman and Dijakovic. That would be a hell of a match.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike just asked a question along the lines of the match we just talked about. Why is Braun Strowman doing the anti-bullying thing? That's going to be kind of tough when they turn him heel again, and if he just did this anti-bullying storyline with Shane. it's going to be kind of tough to swallow him as a heel, don't you think?
Well, actually watched something with Braun on it, Mike, and he made mention that when he was growing up as a adolescent, in school, he was actually bullied himself
because of his size and
that guy's like 6'8" and 350 pounds. He couldn't have been the smallest kid,
right,
in his class. He had to have been like 6 foot by the time he was in junior high school. Where does he live, and how dumb are kids to bully somebody that big?
Exactly.
Well, just take a look around the world, and you'll see a lot of stupidity.
Exactly.
Very true.
Hey, before we go on to our next match, I just want to mention, if you go to thoughtscountanywhere.com and you click the shop button, we have some great merchandise available. Everything in our Thoughts Count Anywhere catalog, including our new logo right there, which is terrific. And we're going to have some polo shirts with collars and some additional hats that might become available. We're working on some ideas. But here's the hot one right there, baby. Chiefs Rant. You better get it while the getting's good, because this thing is selling like hotcakes.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to come in.
So all you have to do is click on the picture of your favorite shirt. Remember, the drop-down menu will show you all the different options that you may have to purchase something with our logo on it. Simply go to thoughtscountanywhere.com, click on the shop tab, and you will be there. Thank you very much. All right, next match. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest defeat The Miz and Morrison.
There's another match that was a no-brainer to call.
Right.
I will give credit where credit's due. Miz and Morrison definitely put Bunny over.
Absolutely.
I won't say Damian, but the three of them put Bunny over. But there again, from what I've read and what I've heard, Bunny done the work in the gym.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Listen, everybody said that in the back. They gave him high props because he did train for weeks. I got to be honest with you, that move outside the ring with Miz, oh my goodness. So got to give him props. I think he did very well. Everybody loved to me, coming in on the top of the semi, it did nothing for me. No. You know, that kind of shtick was not for me in that type of entrance for him. But nonetheless, hey, listen, he did a good showing, and like you said, Chief, there's no way that they were going to have him lose.
Exactly.
You're not going to have the number one, recording star lose a match in this kind of setting. So totally agree with you there, and we'll see what's next. I would love now to see Damian Priest move on and get into a storyline.
Now there'd be a good storyline: Damian Priest against Braun Strowman.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Absolutely. Hello, Millie. Hello, Troy. Noah Anderson, good to see you out there. Mike says they push him to mid-card because WWE doesn't know how to make wrestling stars anymore. And my comment to that is I agree 1,000%. The problem is now, Mike, is that, and I think you'd agree with this, WWE is now more all about pushing the WWE brand. They're not pushing stars anymore like they did in the Attitude Era with Stone Cold and The Rock and Cena, because you know what? The focus was off WWE as a whole, and Vince does not like that. So that's why they're not really pushing stars. Is Roman Reigns a star?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so they have an exception. So he's an exception to that. But back in the day, we can rattle off many more names who were considered stars that people wanted to see versus, hey, I'm going to go see wrestling tonight because WWE's in town. Not, I want to go see wrestling because Stone Cold and The Rock and Kurt Angle are in town. I think that's a big difference.
I agree. I was thinking about a comment I heard Wednesday when I was at the car dealer. I was listening to a wrestling show, and somebody said Tony Khan was on, and he was talking to Mike. Is it Mike LaGreca?
Dave LaGreca.
Dave LaGreca.
That's the Busted Open.
I was listening to that, and Tony came up with an idea and said, I'm really considering for the AEW shows to have a intermission to where people can go and buy merch and buy tickets for upcoming shows. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think, and Mike, I'll look for you to give me a comment. I think that some of the programs we have on TV now need to go back to old school. It's not necessarily about making the big stars or anything like that, but it is good creative writing and making good matches and branding the wrestlers so that they can get over, whether they're a good, a face or a heel, they can get over with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think The Rock and Austin changed the game forever because they were bigger than the company. And now Vince doesn't want anybody bigger than the company.
Than the brand,
so
right? Totally agree.
I'd say
I don't think they try to push anybody as hard as they used to.
I'd say the only one that came close was Cena.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, after the Attitude Era, I think Cena was, hey, John Cena's in town, let's go see him wrestle, versus WWE's in town, let's go watch wrestling.
Like, he was such a big star, too, that if he didn't show up to an event, they would offer refunds.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, Cena couldn't make it tonight. If you want to reschedule your ticket or ask for a refund, go to the box office or something like that. There's not a big enough star now that
they would do that for.
You know, I'll give the folks a history lesson real quick. Used to go to Madison Square Garden every month when Bruno was wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be 20-some thousand in Madison Square. The overflow went into the Felt Forum.
Right.
They'd have the first 4 or 5 matches. At mid-card, there'd be an intermission when the announcer would announce the next month's card.
That's right. I remember.
As soon as that card was announced, the
People
people
went
would be
running
flocked. Exactly.
I remember that.
Why don't we do it no more today?
Absolutely.
They don't think they book shows long enough to... No. Vince McMahon changes his mind like every Monday and end up rewriting the show. You would have to book shows like months in advance.
But we would have to handle it. What he's talking about, though, would be more of the pay-per-view kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like right there in the middle of WrestleMania after a match. And now for our next pay-per-view, so-and-so will be facing so-and-so. And if it's a top card, that's the time you go running for your tickets, not the weekly Raw, SmackDown stuff.
You walk into the writer's room right now and you ask, what's the main event of WrestleMania Backlash? They don't know.
Well, that's WWE. You know, I think I'll be interested.
Tony Khan doesn't know either.
Oh, let's wait and see if he actually does it.
How are you going to do an intermission on a live television show?
Yeah, you can't.
Why-
You can't do it.
I don't think that's possible.
Unless you have a musical act coming up.
Yes, you can, because then you bring the wrestlers in, let the wrestlers do the interviews, okay? Like they did old school.
So you're talking about the intermission being backstage interview segments and
Yeah.
stuff? Oh, I could buy that.
Like the rain delay for WrestleMania?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I could buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do a set of interviews, I could buy
You can
that
do
as
it.
a stoppage.
That's how you build your feuds up.
They can start July 15th when they sign the Iconics and just give those two the microphone for like 15 minutes. I'm cool with that.
Hey, you know, I mean, I'm just, I'm being realistic, and shit needs to change. It's getting stagnant. Okay, in my mind, there's only 2 good wrestling shows on. Okay, AEW and NXT. That's it. The rest of them, well, New Japan. Okay, I'll take that back. New Japan, but the rest of them, they're predictable.
There's some good segments in AEW, and there's a lot of it that makes me go, what the fuck am I watching?
Is it, by the way, do you find it curious that there's somebody that works for the WWE that his last name is Khan?
Nick Khan's the president of WWE.
Right. Any relation to Tony?
No. I looked.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but where there's smoke, there's fire. All right, let's quickly talk about the main event from night 1. Then we'll go to Chiefs Rant.
Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks.
You betcha. The emotion of Sasha Banks at the start of the match before the bell rang just got to her. And I think that was okay. I had no problem seeing her get that emotional before the ring. This is a pinnacle opportunity for her that she's dreamed about forever, the build and everything. And now there she is, WrestleMania, main event, a historic WrestleMania, because apparently it's the first time 2 African-American women not only fought for a title, but highlighted in WrestleMania main event. So it's history making. I love that hair whip. My God,
She should have been disqualified right there. That hair whip is a weapon.
no different than the way Sasha was using the hair braid to choke her and everything else in the bank statement.
I told her
Pulling her like a tug of rope.
She didn't.
Whatever Sasha Banks does is fair.
Did you see any marks on Bianca from
I don't know.
Sasha?
I couldn't see her head. What was the result of the hair being pulled?
There was no marks at all, but there was sure as hell a damn mark on.
Oh, yes, there was.
That had to hurt like
Oh,
hell.
my
You
God.
ain't whistling
I was watching with a
Dixie.
few people on that, and we all went, holy crap. I felt that sitting in my living room. That was crazy. Then after the match, Sasha Banks on the floor. She's trying to sell the injury, and someone on a camera or something caught her with a big smile and looking up into the ring and being very much happy for Bianca to get the win. I think it was a great match. The test of strength from outside the ring, Bianca Belair gets Sasha Banks up. Now, credit Sasha Banks. You have to have a hell of a mighty core to stay as flat as a board while somebody's got you up over their head, then climb the ring steps. And then as you get to the apron, you toss her in. But my God, that was crazy.
You know what she was doing when she did the squats? She was paying homage to Mark Henry as
Yes.
the world's strongest man.
Correct, because there was a close relationship there. He was a
Yes.
huge supporter of Bianca. So good stuff.
Probably could have picked Sasha up with one hand. She freaking picked up Otis during the one segment on SmackDown.
She's from my alma mater.
Mike, let's see. Mike says there could be an intermission, like you just said. Watch old school AWA or NWA. Brandon says FSW with an exclamation. Sean says he's not excited for Cesaro and Reigns at all. The thing with that, though, is that I'm excited that Cesaro is finally getting an opportunity and to hold that position. All right, that's the end of night one. So with that, it is getting time for the Chief is Boiling. You know, the flames in our new logo, it's not because Matt and I like flames. That represents the Chief boiling each and every week as we now get ready for another edition of Chiefs Rant.
Good morning, everyone. It's Chief here. I've got two topics this morning. First one is, when I was talking about the 40 wrestlers, I heard a great comment this morning from Mark Henry on Busted Open. There are 40 quality women wrestlers in the WWE.
38 of them are Sasha Banks.
And hush, boy, hush. This is my time. Anyway, it's time that the WWE, in my opinion, puts a women's show on. Cut an hour out of Raw, Vince, and put a women's show on. Okay? They just went off the hook at WrestleMania, constantly go off the hook for their shows. In my opinion, that's what they need to do. That's the first one. The second one, we have a lot of companies out there that like to televise and put on their wrestling shows on iPads or your telephone or your computer.
You mean on the internet?
On the internet. And then their shit freezes up. Or it's the sound. Or it's this. Or it's that. And they want to charge you for it. Well, you know what? That's all well and good. But damn it, if we've got to pay for it, make it right. And don't say to me, well, Chief, you're using the wrong chords, or you're using the wrong this or that. It's your responsibility. You're selling your product on the internet. It's your responsibility to make it right. That's the Chiefs Rants for today. You have a great day, folks.
Chief out. Is that supposed to be a closing line? Chief
Thank
over
God I
now?
took
Chief is out.
There you go. You know what? It's interesting. Oh, was that WrestleMania 1 that you found? No, I'm asking. No, oh, in 2000. All right, so our producer is not.
Yeah, she flashed Mark Henry.
Yeah, because there was a storyline between Mark Henry and Mae Young. So Aaron E., who's our producer, the last time he caught WrestleMania was in 2000. That tells you why he doesn't know who the people are today.
Nothing will ever beat when we had Vicky Guerrero on and he asked who Eddie was.
Bro,
Nothing will ever top that.
you know what? We need like a top 10
The
Aaron
look
Eads
on her
list.
face was priceless.
Anyway, so he wrote up there, that was the WrestleMania where Mae Young, who at the time probably was about 90 already, decided to flash the strongest man, Mark Henry. And that's the last WrestleMania memory that our producer has.
And then 5 years later, Mark Henry was wrestling Val Venus at a show, and Chyna comes out, and Val Venus rolls Chocolate Thunder up and beats him, and D'Lo gets upset at Mark because he lost the match. Mark says, I ain't worrying about the match. I'm looking at Chyna.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, before we go on to our
Hopefully
next...
you went to the optometrist. after
Yes.
that.
Do you have... Listen, we just ended round 3 of our best wrestler entrances.
Yes.
Do we have results up there, sir, Mr. Matt?
Yep.
What you got? Let's give off where we're looking at now. I think we should be what? Are we down to the final 4 now?
We are down to the final 4.
Is my man still in there?
The first matchup is... No. The first matchup is Undertaker versus Triple H.
Oh, boy.
And the second one is The Fiend versus The Sandman.
Yes.
Wow.
My Sandman is still there. Yes. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking
He's like
about.
blown through this tournament. I don't think he's had like one vote against him the whole time.
Sandman is quality wrestling.
There you go.
But just out of curiosity of the people that
Freaking-
are listening, what tournament do you guys want to see next?
Oh, good idea. What topic would you like to see? That? Oh, yeah, Sean says he predicted, which he did a couple of weeks ago, Taker versus Sandman in the finals. So,
Yep.
So, Sean, you're a great fan. Mike, everybody else who's listening, type or call us with what you'd like to see in our next bracket. We have our own ideas, but we'd like to maybe set up our next bracketology with the input from you folks in terms of what you'd like to see in our next tournament that we'll set up. So you can give us a call, 702-329-6947. Press 1 to come into the studio. By the way, you can also send us a tweet on Twitter. Wow, I said that without stumbling.
A tweet on Twitter.
Use hashtag ThoughtsCountAnywhere, and your question or comment will just flash across the screen, and we'll address it. Let us know what you'd like to see, or if you're shy, feel free to just simply post it on our Facebook page at Thoughts Count Anywhere. Is it podcast show now? What do we have up there?
Thoughts Count Anywhere show.
There you go. We're trying to get rid of the word podcast because this is more than just a podcast. Mike Halverson says finisher versus finisher as a subject. That's interesting.
All right.
That's a good idea. Let's see what else comes in, and we'll put them in a hat, and we'll draw one. By the way, if you want to jump on the bandwagon of being part of our family here at Thoughts Count Anywhere, go to thoughtcountanywhere.com. If you click on sponsorship information, you will see the types of available packages that we have in terms of what price-wise and the packages and what it includes, including some opportunity with some bonus advertising by actually running an ad on the Go Live Vegas radio network. Because when there's no live show, tune in to Go Live Vegas on the app or online at golive.vegas.
Yeah, good music.
The best of 80s. Got to give credit where credit is due. It wasn't A.A. Ron. It was Raquel. How do I say that like an A.A. Ron? Raquel was the producer and really the chief around here, the boss. Aaron's wife was programming that. So it's all 80s music, 80s drops.
Or as I would say in the military, the HMFIC. I'm not repeating it.
I'm way too tired to figure that one out.
The head motherfucker in charge.
There you go. All right. I agree with that. So you've got 3 packages out there, very well priced, very inexpensive to get the kind of exposure that gives you between 30 to 60,000 views a week on our show through Facebook and the likes of the other platforms. And if you are interested, you can send information at info@thoughtscountanywhere.com, or you can just reach us through the Facebook page or private message us. Okay, let's get into night 2 before we take our second break. Let's go into it right now. Randy Orton defeated The Fiend, which we kind of talked about at the top of the show. Where do they go from here now? That's the thing. Randy Orton comes out in the white wrestling gear. You know, he was the sheriff, the good guy with the white stuff in his gear. So
I read Orton's going to get a vacation for a while.
Orton?
Yes. Yeah.
I can see that. Well deserved.
I heard he's going to get a vacation.
Okay. Hopefully not permanent one.
No.
I think the next match, the one that I think disappointed a lot of people, was the women's tag match where
Nia Jax disappointing? No.
Jackson Baszler defeated Tamina and Natalya to retain the women's champion. That crowd was so into Tamina.
She heard her fluffer-nuffer.
Fluffer-nuffer?
Yeah.
The crowd was so into supporting Tamina that they should have changed the match on the fly. And even if you just give them the one-night moment in WrestleMania, and the next night they reach out and they get it back. Natty and Tamina being like, I'm sorry, but WWE missed the boat on that one.
Well, hopefully down the road somebody will get their head out of their butt. And,
They missed the boat on a lot of things.
yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Next match, Kevin Owens defeats Sami Zayn.
And we saw a return match this past Monday of the two of them.
Yeah, that was a good match.
It was.
It was. Listen, those two guys, we know they've known each other for a lot of years. They have chemistry beyond belief. A lot of great moves. The one thing that surprised me, no jumping off the ship from Kevin Owens. That was his plan, right? Last year he wanted to jump from the ship somehow.
The match.
A lot of high spots.
The match the other night, that was professional wrestling.
Yeah.
At its best.
Yeah.
Did he let those two fully go at it? If you ever watched their ladder wars match in Ring of Honor between Kevin Steen and El Generico, those guys are.
Yeah.
They give them the reins to go. They can put on something that'll live on permanently.
Absolutely.
Kevin Steen and
El Generico.
and Bryan Danielson too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. As we mentioned earlier, Sheamus defeated Riddle for the U.S. Championship. Let's go on to Apollo Crews defeating Big E when, what was his name, Dabo Kato, when he was in the Raw Underground, comes out in the Nigerian drum match, which I didn't see any drums involved except they were all around the side of the ring, to beat
Big E.
Big E. I'm happy that Apollo's got a title. Not that he didn't have a title before, but I don't know. I didn't like the way that feud was presented over the weeks. And Big E, now, is Big E going to step up to the heavyweight title picture now?
I would hope so.
When's the 30-day rematch clause going to come into effect?
I don't know.
Well,
I said I've been asking what the hell happened with that damn hole.
That's why I threw it out there.
Jeez. All right, you know what? Let's go another minute before break if we can get these last. Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka. No surprise if she
If
won.
she wouldn't have won that match, I would have been so mad.
Now, and then, of course, Charlotte does her big promo Monday night. So we know we're going to see Ripley and Charlotte at some point, right?
Yes.
Probably WrestleMania Backlash, you think?
That's the dumbest name for a goddamn pay-per-view.
I wonder if we could see a four-way.
Between,
Charlotte,
right? Ripley,
Asuka.
Becky,
Becky. Uh-huh.
and
Who's the fourth one? You mentioned her earlier. She hasn't wrestled in a
Tamina?
while. No.
Tessa Blanchard?
MMA fighter.
Ronda Rousey?
Yeah. How about a four-way?
That would be terrific. I don't think it'll happen because Ronda's been very coy about her potential return, and the last thing I saw was she'll return when she wants to.
Well,
So,
Nah.
who knows?
What better way for a
Yeah.
four-way, though?
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes for good wrestling.
I still say it should have been Becky at WrestleMania because of the way she gave Asuka the belt, but but we'll see.
When Bailey started coming out and there was all those rumors of Bailey was going to be involved in bringing her back, I was like, when the Bella Twins came out, that was the first time I was pissed off the Bella Twins came out.
First of all, Bailey should have deserved better than just being this farce of trying to get involved in the hosting. But
Well, okay, I know we're running short, but let me just throw it. Bailey lost the belt to Sasha, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Bailey basically, in my mind, has been written off TV. Okay. She's not wrestling. WrestleMania, she did this little shtick as a commentator or reporter or what. What the hell kind of shit's that? When you have a champion there of 448 days, okay, and you take her the hell off TV.
if it wasn't for her during the pandemic and stuff, SmackDown would not have been watchable.
Thank you.
So
I
agree with
agree.
that. All right, Mike Halverson says that he first of all he doesn't agree with you, Chief, about Ronda. He thinks she should stay out of the ring. All right, before we finish off with the last match, let's take our quick final break. You're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere. Matt, Chief, and myself will be right back.
It's not the worst podcast ever, is it? It's the best podcast. Thoughts Count Anywhere. All your wrestling news, all your hobbit-cha-hey, all your gimmickry. Go on over, listen wherever your podcasts are downloaded. The Thoughts Count Anywhere podcast. I'm the big LG Doc Ellis. That's my endorsement. Booyah!
If inspiration is the beginning, where does it lead? Experience the 2021 Mazda 3 sedan and see where inspiration can take you.
Grab the brass ring in a 2021 Mazda 3 with exclusive FSW discounts at Finley Mazda. Get Garth today at the Valley Auto Mall.
All right, welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Have you been Garthed? It sounds like something you can find on Nickelodeon. Have you been Garthed? If you need a car, go down to Finley Mazda and check out Garth. He will help you. The man is recovering from knee surgery, and he was back at it yesterday. It's like he didn't skip a beat. So glad he's feeling well. Go down there and check out if you need some wheels. All right, last match. It's night 2, the big triple threat match. Roman, Edge, Daniel Bryan. Now, there was some thought that because Edge was on top of Bryan, that technically he should have been awarded the win, even though Reigns was on top. But needless to say, nonetheless, Reigns retains courtesy of Uso coming in a second time, I think, to help out and get rid of everybody.
You know, I don't even want to talk about the match, but here's what I do want to talk about. What is going to happen? You know, all the hype was Edge coming back to wrestle in this match, and Daniel Bryan getting his second push to come in and wrestle this match. Mm-hmm. So you know Roman's going to be on the show, and no doubt about it. But what about Edge and what about Daniel?
Yep.
They're going to go away to the pasture? Or what?
When they said it was like 10 years to the day, like Edge retired, I thought for sure he was going to win.
I mean, even if he, again, same thing with the women's tag, even if he had won the belt that night, so you face Roman again at the next SmackDown on TV and you let Roman win it back. You know, but as we all are saying, we know the underlying tone here is creative sucks, and we agree with that. Okay, by the way, Sean Hyde put in there that another opportunity for bracket best wrestling attire. Whether that's, I guess, ring entrance attire plus in-ring gear, because, somebody who just comes down in their trunks and boots with nothing.
I have one I want to bring out.
Okay.
Best wrestling manager.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Crybaby Cannon. Go look him up.
That's not a bad.
That's old school.
That is. All right.
Prehistoric days? I've never heard of that name in my life, honestly.
That's my 3/4 halfheimers for the day.
There you go. All right. So that does it for WrestleMania. A couple of headlines before we go into some birthdays, and hopefully we can wrap it up. Listen, the big thing this week is the names that were released from WWE. Last year there was the big release because of the pandemic and everyone was cutting budgets, blah, 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 blah. Now what they're saying here is, of course we know Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Wesley Blake, Kalisto, and Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas had been sitting around there for 2 years. Why did they, why finally cut him? Just that one to me is like he should have been cut a
I wonder if it was because of all those rumors that he was actually the Fiend in that WrestleMania match. WWE was like, hey, guess what? He ain't now.
I didn't hear that. I just thought the Fiend got into some shape since the last time we had seen him. To me, I didn't see that as Bo. But
I didn't either.
Samoa apparently wanted to get back in the ring, and WWE didn't want him to do that.
The question is, where do they go now?
Yeah, well.
And how many of them are going to go? Or are some of them going to retire?
Well, they still have a 90-day clause where they can't do anything.
Yeah.
To me, Mickie James gets injured, and this last run with WWE is not good. She had the knee, whatever it was. She's a country singer. She does very well in that arena. Maybe that would be the one I would think would call it quits. Speaking of retirement, Jazz also officially retired as well this week, right?
Yep.
So, to me...
Well, isn't Mickie married to Bubba?
No,
She's married to Nick Aldis.
Yeah,
Nick Aldis, that's right. I
correct.
stand corrected.
So,
You're right. You're right.
If she wants to get out of the ring, if her injuries don't allow her to perform the way she wants to, go with Nick, be his valet, ringside manager, whatever you want to call it, and keep her safe. I think she should be done wrestling just because she's so injured.
Just go home and be mom.
There you go. That's another idea. Also, a quick shout out to the Hardy family this week. The father of the Hardy Boys passed away this week.
Yep.
So thoughts and prayers go out to them as well. Also, and I'll get to this at the end. I don't want to put it in here. Now, they also said about all these releases, John Laurinaitis was the guy that actually made the final cut. 'Cause he's head of talent relations now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that. So Big Johnny made the calls to release those
I
individuals.
bet you around July 15th, AEW has some kind of random TV special.
Former WWE wrestlers now.
No,
in
just
AEW.
some like random show that like they're gonna super advertise, and that's when everyone's allowed to start signing. So
There you go.
But you look at that list. That's a quality list of wrestlers.
Oh, absolutely. And even the Iconics. I mean, they had the gimmick with Billie Kay running around with the resume and all that stuff, and everybody loved the segments.
She could run that resume over to Tony Khan real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, to me, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, I think they'll be back together somewhere. I don't see them working separately. I think they'll
be in
go somewhere.
AEW. I almost guarantee
Yeah,
it. She's
and-
married to Shawn Spears, so
Yeah, that's true.
I think Samoa is going to go back to ROH.
I think it's going to be between that and Impact.
I think it'd be a good fit for him to go to ROH and help some of the young folk that's there, train them up.
Right. Totally.
Chelsea Green will definitely go back to Impact.
Tucker, second half.
Anybody care?
I know, Heavy Machinery, Kalisto, but
You can go back to AAA.
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right, next topic within the Pat McAfee is now part of the SmackDown commentary team, and also Adnan Virk. Adnan Virk became part of the Raw team this week after they pulled.
How'd that guy get through auditions?
I have no idea.
I haven't heard somebody mess up commentary that much in a long time.
But let's give him a little due. He was announced the second night of WrestleMania. I saw it break through. Who knows how much lead time he had to prep for Raw?
True.
So at least McAfee's been around it and has knowledge of wrestling for many years.
Yeah, well, he didn't do too good on SmackDown last night, if you want to ask me. Okay.
I like McAfee, but he's better like in the ring or like managing somebody or something.
Don't get me wrong, I know he's got a podcast and all this and that.
Big time.
You know what? He's not a professional wrestling announcer. Okay, I agree with you, Matt. He needs to go into the ring. Hopefully there'll be a storyline.
Vignettes of Aleister Black has been seen on TV, so perhaps finally he'll be making a return to TV. All right. Before we move on, and before the rest of the show gets away from us, it is that time. We want to celebrate people.
Happy birthday to you.
If you're celebrating a birthday from today through next Friday, we want to wish you a happy birthday from all of us here at the TCA family. And if you do, you are celebrating birthdays this week with Rowdy Roddy Piper, Bandito, Steve Lombardi, better known as the Brooklyn Brawler, Ox Baker. On the 20th, Johnny the Bull, Kurt Hawkins, and Garrett Bischoff. The 21st, you want to celebrate with a haircut, Brutus the Barber Beefcake is celebrating on the 21st. Nikki Cross, who unfortunately has been sitting on the sidelines and should be wrestling somewhere somehow.
Yep.
The 22nd, Ezekiel Jackson and Chuck Taylor. The 23rd, Tony Atlas, Terry Gordy, and the leader of the C Nation, Mr. John Cena. And Dominic how do you pronounce the last name?
Dijakovic.
Thank you. The dentist on the 23rd, also Miss Britt Baker. And on the 23rd, Moose. All celebrating a birthday. And if we've forgotten somebody, we apologize. But nonetheless, we still wish you all a happy and safe birthday over the next week. Okay, fellas, if it's okay with you, with about 5 minutes left in the show, what do you say we jump down to some pop culture?
Sure.
Because I think unless there's a topic on the list that you guys want to particularly touch on, that maybe we didn't thus far.
Mario Ranello's doing commentary for Impact. That's cool.
I heard that, yeah. Ranello's coming to Impact. Wasn't it just a one-night thing for one match or something?
He's doing the Rebellion pay-per-view this weekend.
Oh, okay. He's doing the actual pay-per-view. That's good.
Next weekend, sorry.
No. I think that would be great. CM Punk thinks a big money match would be with him and Triple H. Karrion Kross said he would be honored to face and retire John Cena. Would that be worthy to Cena, though, having Karrion Kross be Cena's last match at all? And then we'll get to pop culture.
He should have, like, when Cena is, like, the biggest star in, like, the last 10 years. Whoever retires him should be, like, a young person about to get, like, super pushed.
Get put over just the same way that Angle did with him.
Yeah, I think
agree.
Kross could.
Totally agree with that. All right, let's go into some pop culture. We mentioned the Hardy Boys, but here's one. Before you put the picture up, a gentleman by the name of Felix Silla, or is it just Silla? Like see you later? Felix Silla passed away yesterday, and for those of you who don't know, if the name does not sound familiar, take a look at this. Played Cousin It on the long-standing TV show The Addams Family. And then he had a role on Battlestar Galactica as well as...
He was an Ewok in The Empire Strikes Back on Star Wars.
There you go. So, he's originally from Vegas?
He lives in Vegas.
Lived here now, okay.
Scott had him at a signing for Pop Shack.
Oh, there you
go.
go.
So I sat with him for a couple hours. He was a super nice guy.
All right, yeah. That's I did not... you mentioned that pre-show, and I forgot to bring that up. Good job. All right, June 1st, Las Vegas is opening up 100%.
Hallelujah.
But masks are still going to be urgently required.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're all excited for it to open up 100%. But I want to make this out for everyone and realize it. We're at what, 50% right now?
Yeah.
And
we're up to 65%?
okay, we're up to 65% now, my producer says. But yet, the COVID rate has gone up again here in the state. So
we just touched on that 5% magic number from who? World Health Organization.
We have to be vigilant, folks. We have to be vigilant.
Now, there's a conspiracy or rumor going around that one of the reasons that percentage is going up is because there was a backlog of paperwork from months and months and months ago that is finally being reported. Truth or not.
Yeah, bullshit.
Truth or not, we still have to be careful.
Here's the turn that damn thing down.
Well, let
Thank
him get
you.
through. It's a sound drop.
Here's the bottom line. Okay, wear your fucking mask. Get vaccinated. And if you don't like the fucking rules, stay the hell home. It's that goddamn simple. And that's the Chiefs' fucking rant today. Over and out.
He dented his freaking bell up here in that. Holy crap. All
now
right.
I am pissed.
Oh.
It's a disease with a 99% survival rate. Open the damn city up already.
Okay, before these two go at it in the studio, Dwayne Wade, part owner of the Jazz, and Michael Jordan is going to be inducting Kobe into the Hall of Fame. All right, with that, folks, thank you for watching another edition of Thoughts Count Anywhere. In the books, you can always check the archives out on thoughtscountanywhere.com or through Facebook and check us out. Also, like us on YouTube. Again, email us to become part of this show and become an advertiser. Gentlemen, final thoughts before we say goodbye. I'm not going to go to Chief because he's already had his final thought.
Everyone have a good week. Be safe.
All right, Chief, I'll give you a go. Final thought.
Love you all.
All right, everybody, have a great week from all of us here at Thoughts Count Anywhere. I'm Aaron Phillips. Always be kind to each other. Why? We're all we have. Thank you for watching Twin Brothers, Noontime. Bucky Hurd.